What's crackin', fam? I am still on, and this is still I Played a Thing, Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. And I must, once again, most humbly beg your forgiveness because I did miss another weekend. I do beg your pardon, I was feeling a little wiped out after the holiday, and just couldn't quite get myself up to it. But we're here now. I'm here now, and you're here now, and Salad's here now. And we are still in the crypt where we left off last time after laying King Vendrick to rest. And today we are wearing Agdane's equipment. Now why are we still here, you might ask? Well, a very good reason. You may recall that we've been using the Ashen Mist Heart lately to delve into the memories of the Withered. And, well, before we sent him to his long final rest, King Vendrick was looking pretty damn withered himself, wasn't he? Well, if we approach this sparkly pile of armor that he sported in life, perhaps we can take a little look into his past as well. And here we are, in memory of the king. Yep, looks like we're still here in the crypt, so presumably this is some time after Vendrick had retreated to this place, but before he went hollow. This man in full armor and with all his flesh and everything looks even more impressive. Sitting down, he's still taller than we are. Hey, King V, I hope we did the right thing laying you to rest back there.
Seeker of fire, coveter of the throne. I am Vendrick, ruler of Drang Lake. As flame rises, so does it fade. Such is the way of things. Do you intend to link the fire? Then you must first take the throne. Prove your worth. Find the ancient crowns. Seek adversity, and they will be yours. And your wishes granted.
Oh, linking the fire again. We already did that. This is getting very monotonous. But having our wishes granted would be a nice thing. We do still wish to rid ourselves of the curse.
And your wishes granted.
Now, is that all?
And your wish.
Looks like. Well, he does tell us to seek the crowns and to seek adversity. And the areas around the DLC gateways do mention adversity. And also, all of the DLC areas are collectively known as the Lost Crowns Trilogy. They all center around tracking down the crown of a lost and fallen king. So basically, Vendrick here is saying, go do the DLC, it'll be awesome. Well, we will be doing the DLC very shortly, starting today, and it will be awesome. But it will also be a total bitch. More on that as we get there. And in kind of a nice touch, as we ascend the stairs there to the exit of Vendrick's crypt, we got a quick look at Velstadt back in the day when he was still guarding the king, before we had killed his hollowed form. Just a very quick glimpse at Velstadt. Nice little touch, I think. Anyway, so, yeah, we've done everything there is to do pretty much in the main body of the game, with the one exception of the Dark Chasm of Old. We will be doing that eventually, but our next big step will indeed be to complete the DLC. However, we do have a few side trips to make first. First of all, we should probably spend some of this walloping pile of souls we've got on hand. We did get quite a healthy reward for slaying the Hollowed King. And I'll want to spend some of that on levels. We'll probably want to save some of it as well, but that's a good start.
Bearer until...
We're still struggling a little bit with the sheer heaviness of our stuff, so I want to put a couple into vitality, I think. And we've been neglecting our HP a little bit, so I'd like to drop a level into that as well. In order to bear the weight of the equipment I'm currently wearing, Agdane's set, I had been wearing my Royal Soldier's ring, so let's see if I can take that off now. Nope, not quite. We're still going to want a little more vitality before this quest is done. But that's alright, this gets us a little closer. And saves a little bit of our souls for other purposes. Now then. First stop we want to make, to do our little catch-up before we make our way toward the DLC, is back in Dranglake Castle. There are going to be a couple of people who are very impressed with us for taking down the Giant Lord and ready to reward us for that, and the first of those is going to be Chancellor Velger. And it should be a quick enough trip back to his place in the main hall. Ah, crap. Invasion. But let us ride out to meet them. Alright, Arngrim, where you at? There he is. Okay, that was pretty slick. Hey, how about that? One for a change. It was kind of an ugly fight, but then all of my PvP is. Anyway, enough distraction. Let's get right back to business. Oh, and I should probably show off a little funky detail here. It's of no particular importance, just another of those little oddities of the game. If we're wearing the king's ring, statues in the castle don't come to life. Of course, we can't actually get around this one, so I'll have to take it off. I'll put our Royal Soldier back on. And as you can see, that makes the statue revival start working again. Well, I suppose that's only fair. You wouldn't want the king himself being disturbed by reanimating statues in his own castle. Hi. I don't appreciate being electrified. Now then, let's have a quick catch-up with the Chancellor.
Welcome, visitor. Our guests are treated with honor.
Yeah, we've heard all that before.
The
king of giants. How did you slay that behemoth? Incredible. Now, take these.
We get a lot of stuff for that. The Llewellyn set, the Espada Ropera, and the Royal Dirk. I don't think he has anything new for sale. Well, we will just do a quick check on that. Nothing here I really need to worry about.
The king had long sheep.
Okay, no other new dialogue here.
Gone so soon. Be safe.
Let me make one more stop to meet with the other person who is going to be very impressed with us. And then we'll take a look at some of the stuff we just racked up. By the way, I wonder how it is that he knew we slew the Giant Lord. I mean, we did that in the past in a memory. But then again, I guess Velger is a ghost. Probably has some kind of knowledge beyond the ken of men. So then, our next target is going to be to head back into the memory of Vamar, I believe it was, and we need to visit Captain Drummond once again. Likewise, I don't really know how he's going to know that we killed the Giant Lord, but know he will, and he will reward us for it. And it won't be a particularly thrilling reward, but we'll take all the free stuff we can get, as always. Kerpop. 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 And Kerpop. So satisfying. Oh, and I am not using the glowy fiery sword this time because we will soon be heading into the first DLC, and if I recall correctly, the average enemy in the first DLC has excellent fire defense. Hey, Drummond. Never mind the giant trying to squeeze through the door. How you been?
Take these. I think you may just need them.
And at long last, we get the final piece of the Drang Lake set.
Don't ask me why. I just do. Be gone with you. Be gone.
And that's all he's got to say. I suppose he doesn't explicitly tell us that he knows we slew the Giant Lord, but that is the trigger for us receiving the helmet. So, whatever. That's all we need to do here. We can just warp right back out. Alright, let's go ahead and go somewhere safe. We can take a look at some of that new equipment we've acquired. Alright, for starters, how about the Drang Lake helm? Did I just go right past it? I did. In his day, King Vendrick was fair and just, and expected the same of his liegemen. This helm was proof of King Vendrick's trust and honor until his transfiguration. Now how about the Llewellyn gear? There we are. Armor reinforced with rare guy steel. Belonged to Chancellor Veliger. Quality equipment that is both light and strong. Crafted by the castle's resident master smith, Llewellyn, and supplied only to a select few. His work easily identified by its lack of an ostentation, Llewellyn focused solely on an economy of simplicity and strength. And the couple of weapons that we acquired. First, the Royal Dirk, a dagger fashioned from rare guy steel, boasting an unusually long blade. Guy steel was a precious alloy created in the eastern land of Mira, its composition long kept secret from foreign lands. That is, until Chancellor Veliger was ordered by King Vendrick to grant the gifted blacksmith Llewellyn a lifetime contract, whatever the cost, in order to introduce the rare alloy to Drangleic. And the Royal Dirk is quite large for a dagger, so if you want a little pokey knife, but you want an unusually beefy one, well, there you have it. And the Espada Ropera, the thrusting sword of Chancellor Veliger, also forged with rare guy steel, a masterpiece of the great blacksmith Llewellyn that he brought along as a gift when he left Mira for Drangleic. No terribly important lore there, just a little bit of information about where some of Vendrick's best equipment came from, I guess. And since the Chancellor had so much high-quality guy steel equipment, well, apparently he was held in very high esteem. Anywho, something else you may remember from last episode was that when we killed Vendrick, we got a lot of souls, but we didn't actually get his soul. And I mentioned that this does not indicate it doesn't exist, it just wasn't with him at the time. Well, we can acquire the King's soul now. We will just have to make a little detour for that. We will find it in the Shrine of Amana. You know something, I really better put on one of my soul protection rings here just in case something goes wrong. Alrighty. Oh, spotted me right away. Well, we'll wait for her to forget about us and just take down a lizard guy in the meantime. Now, ma'am, you need to stop shooting. Stop with all the shooting. Okay, good. And now we do the shooting. Now then, as I had started to say, those of you with excellent memories may recall the first time we were here in the shrine, I mentioned that there was an area off to the side that was being guarded by a dragon rider. And that it was of no particular value to us at the moment, but it was somewhere we would definitely want to visit in the future. Well, the future is now. And yeah, this actually is the place, so why did I remember there being a dragon rider here? Maybe one despawned or something? Ah, well, never mind. Quite something indeed. Remember after we defeated the foreskin frog, there was the Door of the Dead, which would only let you through if you were hollowed? Well, this is quite the opposite we have right here. This is a door that will only let you through if you are fully human. It also requires that you have defeated the king. So let's see what we've got here. Ah, the very thing we sought. Nice. Here indeed. Thanks, message. You too. And what we have here is the king's equipment. Nice. So, it would appear that before he descended beyond the castle into the undead crypt, the king somehow separated himself from his soul. Makes me wonder if he was undead at the time and had Velstadt smash his brains in or something. And he hid his soul in a place where only a human could reach, and somewhere where the Milfanito were singing, to lull into slumber those who belong to death and dark. Hiding his soul somewhere dark creatures can't safely go, and where only humans can reach it. Well, there's another bit of info for you to file away for future reference, but in the immediate, let's take a quick look at everything we found that the king had stashed away in that little hidey hole of his. First is his soul. This great soul beckoned the dark, overwhelming the king. Perhaps this king, who once ruled the world of men, was a lacking vessel for the true throne. And it describes it as the soul of one who would link the flame, and yet he never did. Was he unable, or did he choose not to? A worthy question. At any rate, let us take a look at his equipment. What makes a king? Some say that it is birthright, while others call it destiny. Perhaps it is not important, as long as the king's name serves to unite his people. Well, he did say to seek the crowns. We've got one of them, but it's the easy one. How about his armor? Oh, same description. Okay. Well, at any rate, we've got his soul now, so we might as well go trade it in. As it turns out, we've got 3 options for the king's soul, but all of them are to be found at Ornifex. So please bear with me for a moment while I head on back down to Brightstone Cove, and I will rejoin you in just a moment. Hello, nice bird lady. Well, you can make something out of the king's soul for me, please. Option number 1 is the Ruler's Sword. Great Sword of Vendrick, King of Dranglake. The strength of this sword is relative to the number of souls possessed by its wielder. One fragment of dark, having taken human shape, became obsessed with the king's soul. Impelled by its own cravings, it sought souls, and strove to make the strength of the giants its own. Now who could that be? Now, this is a decent enough weapon. It's got some pretty stiff stat requirements, but the problem with it is, in addition to its regular stats, it also scales with the number of souls you have, as the description indicates, and in order to use it at full power, you have to be holding 1 million souls. And who wants to be carting that around all the time? We can also make the King's Shield, which has pretty much the same description on it, and it is actually a really good shield. Not as good as a great shield, but It has some of the best stability and overall stat resistances for a normal-size shield. It also has particularly excellent fire defense, so this is a very solid choice. And finally, the King's Ultra Greatsword. Only the king knows whether the depiction of the queen is a resentful mockery or an affectionate exultation. And this is a 50 strength weapon with A strength scaling, so it's very well suited to us. I'm gonna take it. It also, as you can see, does strike damage, which is pretty unusual for an Ultra Greatsword. As a matter of fact, this is a very unusual Ultra Greatsword in general, for reasons that we'll explore further in a moment. Let's see, how am I doing on these? We'll buy a few while we're in town.
Come back again if you find another soul.
You bet, Orny. Alrighty then, the King's Ultra Greatsword. The description said that it was either an exaltation or a mockery of the Queen. Yeah, let's take a look at that. You can now see why I like to call the King's Ultra Greatsword the wife on a stick. And also why it does strike damage, because it's just a huge edgeless slab of stone. Now the base damage on this thing is insane if you have it fully upgraded. The scaling is also outstanding. The main problem I have with this weapon, despite the fact that it's, or in addition to the fact that it's even heavier than the Greatsword, is its moveset. It's an Ultra Greatsword by classification, it uses strike damage like a Great Hammer, and it has the moveset of a Great Axe. Which means the R1 strikes are very vertically focused. The R2 strikes are also very vertically focused. So to get any kind of decent sweep with this thing, you have to either running attack with it. I think the rolling attack, yep. What about the two hands? Yeah, you get a little bit of horizontal action there, but kind of angled. So yeah, the moveset for this kinda takes it a few ranks down in my estimation, but still, if you're focusing on a single enemy and just want to do assloads of damage, there are worse places to spend your Petrified Dragon Bone if you're doing a high-strength character. Maybe I'll do that at some point, but no rush. Anyway, having done that, I can spare some more souls on a few more levels. So let us throw another one into Vitality, and another one into Vigor. Alright, and with all that prep work out of the way, it is finally time to look into beginning the first of the DLCs. Man, do I have mixed feelings about this. It's like a combination of excitement and dread. Because, if you watched the first Dark Souls LP I did, or if you're just very familiar with the whole Dark Souls 1 Ulasil thing, you'll remember that was really excellent DLC. A lot of cool bosses, a lot of cool areas. Had Artorias and Manus, it had Ulasil Township and the journey into the Abyss. Well, this DLC is pretty awesome too. It is definitely, I would say, another case of DLC done right. The problem is, it is wickedly hard. Alright, we've got another woodland child to deal with. We'll take care of that real quick. Never came here after my initial visit when I slew Woodland Child Victor. If you come back after resetting the zone, you get Woodland Child Gully. We should be able to take care of him without too much trouble. He's pretty much exactly the same as Victor. Oh god, don't tell me I'm gonna get killed here. We don't want that. Chug! Huh, much better. Alright, come on, Gully. Welp. Double KO. I wonder if he'll come back after that, or if it counts as him being dropped. Well, in any case, at least it should be easy to get my souls back. Alright, enough with the poison spam. Alright, I think Gully is truly gone. I don't get my human effigy for defeating him, but oh well. Anywho, here in the Lair of the Rotten is where we find our first DLC gateway. I stopped by here before, but of course we weren't actually ready to tackle it at the time. So before I venture in, forbidden is the path to the ancient king's domain. Trespassers will face adversity befitting a monarch. Well, Vendrick did tell us to seek adversity. With water dry and path amiss, willful temptation is dismissed. I have no idea what the hell that's supposed to mean. The city of the sunken king sleeps, as does the dragon within. And we now enter the first DLC area, also known as Crown of the Sunken King. Also, apparently there's a dragon. That should be good times. As I was saying, the DLC, really difficult. Harder than any part of the base game, including the Dark Chasm of old. One might in fact say the real Dark Souls 2 starts here. One thing I should mention up front is that each DLC has two sections to it. There's the main section, which involves the search for the crown and any story enemies that have to be fought. And then there is the co-op dungeon. The co-op dungeons are side missions that are meant to be done in co-op, and they are just huge piles of difficult enemies, just really scattered throughout a challenge dungeon. And they do have bosses at the end, but said bosses are either NPCs or palette swaps, so I'm not committing to doing the co-op dungeons at this point. I will do the main path, but the co-op dungeons, depending on how I'm feeling about it and what kind of help is available, I may or may not. But again, the bosses for them aren't truly unique, so if I don't do them, you won't really be missing anything. I think there's a developer message here somewhere. Don't remember exactly where it is. Maybe it's not here in Scholar. And we can light a torch at the fire pit here. Interesting, I never noticed that. Anywho, at least there used to be a developer message here saying that you could put a summon sign down and it could be picked up by someone far away. The idea behind that was, even if you hadn't purchased the DLC, you could co-op here for the co-op dungeon by placing your summon sign down, and people could bring you in to do the co-op areas, but you could not be summoned into the main areas. Yeah, confidence would be a good thing to have here. Since the DLC is so damn difficult compared to the base game, there is an excellent chance that I will be playing more awkwardly here and doing a lot more dying, Also, I have played through the main game about 5 times at this point, and through the DLC only twice. So yeah, this could get a little ugly, and I hope you will at least get some entertainment from my misfortunes, and hopefully I'll be able to keep them to a minimum. Well, welcome to the site of the Crown of the Sunken King, Shulva, Sanctum City. The big theme here is poison. It is a really cool subterranean, cavernous civilization, but I will say I do get kind of tired at the pea soup color that everything is. Oh well. Down there we can see sort of a swampy place with some dinosaur things stomping around. We will have to go there later, and I will hate it. But in the more immediate, our goal was going to be that big old ziggurat thing there. But we've got a little ground to cover before we can even reach that. Look at him go. Well, they did say there would be a dragon. Thankfully, it doesn't seem to be spoiling for a fight right now, but that was one hell of a big spear it had stuck through it. What that could be about, I wonder. Visions of jumping? No, somehow I don't think that would work out well for me. Some old growth balm. And yeah, right here is a shortcut elevator that we will not be able to activate for quite a while, I'm afraid. Good to know it's here, though. Poison ahead and then death. Boy, do I ever know it. Sitting right there against the wall is our first of the common sort of bread and butter enemies for this area, the Sanctum Soldier. And they can come in several flavors, including a big old great hammer like this guy has. They can also have swords and shields or bows. The ones with bows are really powerful. I have no idea what kind of bowstrings they're packing, but they hurt a lot. Now, one thing that's really notable about the Sanctum Soldiers compared to the other common enemies we've encountered in other places is that they have really, really outstanding poise. You really cannot count on interrupting these guys' attacks. It's not infinite poise, but it's just huge. In most cases, especially if you're hitting with a high damage weapon like I'm using, they'll die well before they ever stagger. So yeah, don't count on making them flinch. And yep, when we step out here, we're going to start getting shot at. Okay, maybe not quite yet. There we go. Okay, that didn't do as much damage as I was expecting. Maybe the armor I'm wearing is a little better than what I'm used to. In keeping with the big poison theme of Shulva in general, all of the Sanctum Soldiers' weapons do cause poison buildup, including their arrows. But what is that interesting little monument thing off to the left with the glowy insignia on it? What would happen, pray tell, if I gave that a little poke? Let's get an arrow out of the way first, and then give it a try. Meet the other big gimmick of Shulva. Switches. switches, when triggered, tend to cause bits of the architecture to rise and fall. And that can change your cover, it can change your paths, and as you've seen, it can cause enemies quite a bit of pain if they get caught up in it. And this one's nice and handy because it puts some cover between us and the guy with the bow. After I take care of the guy with the giant mace here, I think hitting that next switch up ahead might not be a bad idea, because it looks like there's another pit there that might have a tower structure in it. And once again, that'll do a little harm and give us a little cover. Sounds like it actually killed someone, too. Hey, come on down, friend. That's right. Didn't get the backstab there that I wanted, but I can't argue with the end result. Hi, guys. That's a silly range to use a bow at. You should really draw a melee weapon. That's right. Whoops. Oh, this is going all wrong. Alright, well, we can just remember there are some life gems there for future consideration. Now, sometimes if you take these downward into the ground, you can find things hidden below, but truth be told, I don't remember exactly where all of those are, so I'm just going to proceed onward for the moment. Meanwhile, down below, that looks like a promising place to explore. Let's get rid of this guy from a distance, because it's always a little safer to do it that way. And yep, that is another type of Sanctum soldier I forgot to mention down below there, the kind with a lance. So I could drop in on him, but I think I will refrain. What does this switch do? Aha! Gives us a slightly safer path down, and a little treasure besides. Can't say as I'm too excited about an upgraded longbow, but, well, it's there if you want it. Something else I should probably mention about Shulva, what with the shifting geography and what have you, it's really good at getting me lost, so I do apologize in advance. You're bound to see quite a lot of lost on here. I see you over there, and I bet you have a bow, don't you? Well, I have a bow too, and I saw you first. Now, in this structure here, we have lots of nasty equipment-breaking bugs, and lots of nasty little bugs which don't actually do anything, they're just scenery. So we'll want to pop some of these pods from a distance so we don't get caught up in the equipment breakage gunk in them. And then we can fight the bugs a little more safely. The bugs that we'll encounter here used to be a DLC exclusive enemy, but as of Scholar, you saw a few of them earlier in the gutter. So you'll probably recognize them when we start to encounter them. Ah, there's one. Nothing too terrifically dangerous, but they can do a number on your equipment if given the opportunity. I don't think there's anything over here to worry about in the immediate, so let's continue in this direction. I see you. And now I don't. I hear you, message. And that builds us a little bridge over this way. Hi, Lance Guy. I'd like to say hello to your back. Thank you for the opportunity. Whoops. Little more treasure for our trouble and upgraded poison bite ring. Good advice. And this will just pop us right back to where we started the area. Well, no worries, all of the enemies that we encountered here earlier remain very dead. And we can just continue along on our way. Whoa, careful there. Alright, what that'll do here is open the first of these sliding bridge thingers here. I don't think it's possible to make that jump over there, but never mind that, there's a mace guy coming after me. Well, he seems to want to fight, so we'll give him some satisfaction. Hey bro, you're really not paying attention, are you? Now then, just to sanity check myself, I'm going to make a quick attempt at that jump. I don't believe it will work, but I can land safely, so no big worry. Oh, it actually is possible. How about that? Alright, we've built ourselves another bridge there. I really thought it was possible to activate I thought it was necessary, rather, to activate a second switch here somewhere to further close up this gap, but perhaps I was wrong. As you all know, my memory is never even remotely close to perfect. And I saw a little bit of loot down here, and I don't mean the sellsword kind. Some lightning urns, very nice. Is there anything in these pots? Nope, they seem safe. So what actually is this way? I do not remember this path well. What is that switch over there? Did I do that one? I don't think I did that one. Oh, I see. That's what completes the bridge there. Which is less important than I thought, because, as I just demonstrated, it's possible to make the jump. Alright, I see there is a drop-off over there, so before I take the plunge, I'm going to head over this way and see if there's anything important to do here first. Actually, one thing right in front of me there is a new enemy type, which is a turtle with a shell covered in poison-spitting statues. The statues will just repel your weapons, so it is important here to target the turtle itself, which is most easily done with projectile weapons. Now, how the hell do I get over there? Looks like maybe if I go into the bug house and then fall down from the other side. It's certainly worth a shot. What was I doing? I've gone and gotten myself very confused. We'll take another look at that from the outside. Okay, so I go through the bug house to the back. Okay, I was on the side, not the back. Well, first of all, let's see what kind of treasure we've got right here. In that direction, I'm fairly certain is progress, so we'll want to make sure we clean this area out before we proceed. And that is one hell of a lot of throwing knives, which I don't tend to make a lot of use of, but no harm in having them. Hi, Mace Guy. That's what you get for sleeping on the job, I'm afraid. Right, so let's have another go before we proceed any further at that bug house treasure. Speaking of treasure, I see something up there that I am not entirely sure how to get to. Let's see if this switch maybe has anything to do with it. What does that do? Oh, it makes that go down. Alright, I don't think that is relevant to my interests right now. Message seems to think it's a trap, so definitely never mind. And it looks like before edits we are at about the 1 hour mark, but I'm going to see if I can make my way to the next bonfire before we hang it up. Just so we get a little bit of decent progress in today. So this, I think this is the right path around. And where I drop down and get my treasure, and yes, down. Very good. Capital. Probably not worth it. But I'm being thorough. You like it when I'm thorough, right? Right. Now, up that-a-way, up the ramps there with all the Sanctimus soldiers, I believe is the way I need to progress. But first, let's see what's down here, because I honestly don't remember. Oh, they're shooting. Ambush, be wary of right, thank you. Enemy horde ahead, I don't like the sound of that. Oh, hi there. Ah, okay. This is another way to progress. Going down that way will eventually get us where we need to go. But there are some other things we can do up above, so I'm going to take the other path. But this is something to remember if I just need to get back here quick later. Also, I think I shall put on my life protection ring, because I've got enough souls that I would be slightly sore if I ended up losing them. Someone was shooting at me here before. Where was he? I have lost track of the bowman. Oh, there he is. And if we got anything... Ooh, we've got something down here. Some magic bolts. And how about up here? Anything fun? I see loot. I hear footsteps. Someone trying to creep up on me? Well, never mind. Oh, a sanctum mace. Well, that's cool. Before we hang it up today, when I get somewhere safe, we'll take a look at that. That's the great hammer that these guys have been using. It's a rather interesting weapon, actually. Oh, speak of the devil. Well, that looks lethal. Not sure I want to try falling down there. And a dried root. No thank you message. Have we seen dried roots before? I think we may have. No, it is a new item. Wild animals abhor the pungent odor of this root, but clerics on pilgrimage are keenly aware of the can't talk at all today, of the value of its powerful medicinal effects. So it seems a lot like the Elizabeth mushroom. I haven't played around with it much, so I'm not sure if it's better or worse. And we've got some more switches here to play with, but I want to make sure I'm not getting shot at while I do so, Oh, hi! Forgetting one of the cardinal rules of Dark Souls games, which is to never trust a corpse. Unless it's just the generic kind that has items on it. There we go. And we proceed carefully under cover. You die. I said you die. I'm forgetting my own advice about how good their poise is. Ooh, 3 twinkling. I'm pleased to see that. Bad call, Lance guy. Alright, we got a couple shooters here. I think if I approach carefully, I can get the drop on them, like so. And yeah, if I recall correctly, if I do the right stuff with these switches, I can arrange an extended bridge there and get to another bonfire. And I think doing that would make for an excellent time to leave off today. Oh, but there's something over there I want to deal with as well. So we'll do a couple more things before we hang it up today, and if we end up running a little bit long, then so be it. Alright. So yeah, I see it now. The bonfire is right over there, and we just need to do a little bit of appropriate fiddling about to get the right switches activated. This may take a little bit of doing, but I'm sure I'll get it sorted. Well, that's not what I was looking for. How about this? Okay, that's one of them that I needed. I'm thinking a ground floor view might be of some value at this point. I'm going to head on back down, and besides, I saw some treasure there that I missed on the way up. Probably nothing super exciting, but worth investigating. So let's see here. I think this is the one I shot from up there. Then how about these two? Yeah, that's looking helpful. I'm gonna go get that bonfire lit, get that squared away, first of all. Yeah, it looks like we can reach it now. Or can we? No, I don't like the look of that one bit. We're still missing a step, I think. Yep, still missing a step, I think. But maybe it's this one. Aha! Perfect. If you're having trouble with the switch puzzles in Shulva, as you can see, it does help a bit sometimes to just make sure you look around very carefully, see if there are any targets to hit with a bow. Needless to say, having a bow is kind of a prerequisite here, but if you've gotten this far in the game without having one at all, I'm pretty impressed. Anything out here? Looks like there's a treasure down in the column there. Not sure how to get at that, but I'm not going to worry about it right this second. Okay, well, maybe I can drop myself in there. Not sure if that's going to work out for me, but well, seems worth a shot, I suppose. Hey, that worked out quite nicely. No, and a very upgraded Thunder Quartz ring. Yeah, in the base game, +2 was the best any ring would ever be, but there are some +3 ones in the extended world of the DLC. Now, can I get back over there with a jump? I don't know. Not sure I fancy my chances. I can go here, but will that get me anywhere? Yeah, I can go back around this way. Very nice. That worked out swimmingly. Well, folks, there is one more thing that I would like to show off before we call it a day, because I'm in a very convenient place to do it, and that is the Kinky Tree. Kinky Tree, you might ask? Yes. Stand by, I will get myself there as quickly as possible. Over there we have some spitting statues with red eyes. What those do is spit petrification gas instead of poison. And they are blocking something that I need access to. And that means firebombs. We can use our bow to assist in aiming. If I go a little high, chuck a firebomb. Nope, needing to go higher than that. Let's try with the eyes right at the bottom of the screen, see if that's about the right distance. No. Let's try with the... Let's try that seam in the texture there. Aha! That might just have been enough. Only destroyed one of them, but I just need to get an arrow through to that switch. Aha! Perfect. And now we can cross the bridge into a nice hidden optional area here, where among some other things we will encounter the Kinky Tree. Thanks, message. If memory serves, there's nothing more dangerous over here than a gathering of turtles, but we will want to get those out of the way so they won't be in the way while we try and conduct our business with the tree. And there's our tree friend. And in his chamber there is a notched whip +7. Perhaps you're starting to put two and two together on the whole kinky thing. But let's finish looting first. Another thing in here that is quite unique is the Promised Walk of Peace, which I believe is a hex. Yeah, there it is. A hex created from an ancient miracle of unknown origin. Slows the walking pace of its caster and those in the vicinity. To stand and glare at one another, steaming with ire and wrath, but without making a move, such is the nature of peace. As it says, it used to be a miracle. It's a hex now, and you may remember it from Dark Souls 1 as Tranquil Walk of Peace. See, it's not an unknown origin at all. But anyway, we have more pressing business here with our friend the Kinky Tree. Now, if you hit the tree with any weapon other than a whip, it will get hurt and eventually die. However, if we hit it with a whip, the notched whip is supplied for your convenience, but I believe any whip will do. We don't have enough dexterity. I wonder if that matters. I don't think it does, but let's give it a try. Anyway, look at the durability of my greatsword right now. Let's try this. Oh, he liked that. And behold, the greatsword is now fully repaired. Yes, if you ever hit the Kinky Tree with a whip, it ejaculates healing powder. Matter of fact, better than healing powder, because I believe it can fix completely broken weapons and equipment, even if they've had their durability completely depleted. Really nice. And if my memory is correct on that, this is a way you can cheaply get your rings of life and soul protection fixed. Sweet. Anywho, we've got a refreshed weapon, and we've got a decent path carved through the enemies here, so I think what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to get us to the brink of progress, and then we will pick up next time right where we left off. No need to go back to Majula and redo a bunch of stuff. How did I get down there? Shulva does tend to do a number on my never brilliant navigational abilities, but we'll make our way to the end somehow. Some way. Did I screw up the path with my various structure movings? I think I may have. Except no, this is where we need to be. Alright then, folks. I think we're about due to call it a day. Next time, we will continue down along the pathway here, head across the bridge to that big old structure there, and see what we can find. As always, folks, I thank you for joining me, and I will see you again next time when we continue our exploration of Shulva, Sanctum City. Till then, this is Un. Take care, and see you then. As the month of December arrives, your pledges are rolling in, and we at I Played a Thing would like to express our heartfelt gratitude once again to such generous contributors as Justin Carpenter, Nolden, Zangamarth, Charlie Dunst, Anonymous Benefactor, John Madigan, Johnny Millennium, Sanguine Games, Misha Van Doren, Craig Patterson, Frank Grizzy, Tim J., Lolo De Puzzlo, Joshua C. Ritchie, Jared C. Rice, Darren Chow, Sonic Rose, EX Potemkin, Alicia Goranson, Argyle Jelly, Mechasaurus, DG Jono, Doug Russell, August Fortnite, and many more. No new additions to the shoutouts this time, but we do have a new arrival on the list at skunkfuqua.com, so by all means, you're always welcome to stop by. Thanks as well to all commenters, subscribers, and watchers. I am very glad to have you along, and I hope to see you again real soon. Till then, have a good one.